Hello and welcome back to Game Hydro. Today we're talking about Tales of Angels again, and we already did a tier list of all of the mythic maidens, which, top maidens in the game. Of course, everybody wants a tier list. We were asked before to do a tier list of the legendary maidens because they're the next highest below mythic, but they're like not even one notch below them. They're like half a notch below them. So we did a tier list of them. Now we want to do a tier list of the epic maidens, because epic maidens are very important to your party and they are gonna be heavily used. Their job's kind of a thankless one. They get heavily used in battle, and they don't really have a whole lot of weaknesses, honestly. They're good in your battle party all the way up until you get to the super advanced levels, maybe player level 70, 75, 80, because they can star up. They start at 4 stars, but they star up all the way to 8 stars. So that's pretty good. And there's only 6 of them. At least one of them should be worth keeping around in your battle party, right? Plus, being epic maidens and not legendary, they're a little bit easier to find the upgrade materials for, to upgrade them, to star them up, things like that, because you're generally going to get quite a few of them. So without further ado, we're going to start on this tier list. All right, first up, we got Cetra. She is a fire type, the ghost sister. And so the first skill she's got, the normal skill, is Ghostly Claw. Deals 116% magic damage to enemies in the front and the mid rows, with a 75% to infect burning. And burning loses hit points equal to 15% of Cetra's attack every turn. Pretty strong attack there. Against units that are already affected by burning or inferno, it increases damage dealt by 15%. And for the ultimate, you got Devil's Joke, which deals 192% to 3 random enemies. When attacking units infected by burning or inferno, 60% chance to reduce the crit rate by 20%. Has a 50% chance to inflict burning. All right, so that's pretty good. That's not so bad. And stat-wise, she's got, like all epics, maximum levels 205. Her class type is a mage, so she'll be mostly doing magic damage. Attack power, almost 40,000, and health, almost 207,000. Over 207,000. So even though the maximum stats look like a big drop-off from the legendaries and the mythics, realize that this is for level 205, whereas they top out at level 350. So there's a huge difference there between the two. So fire type and her attacks sound pretty decent. I'm gonna give her a B+. Not quite to the A level for me. They're not quite that high, but I do like the area of effect. All right, we're going to look at the next one. We got Carol. Carol is a water type, and she's also DPS type. She's a warrior, mostly does physical damage. So her main attack, Python Art, that does 136% damage to the enemies in the front and mid rows. If the target is a warrior or guardian, an additional 20%. If they're debuffed, it ignores 15% of their defense. That's pretty good. That's kind of putting more damage on one that's already been damaged. So that's front and mid rows. Now, looking at the ultimate, Python stance, 358% of physical damage to one single enemy, and 94% splash damage to 2 random enemy units, with an 80% chance to inflict Heal Ban. Heal Ban prevents the unit from getting healed for 2 turns. That's a completely unique debuff that so far we haven't seen any mythics or any legendaries offer. Only the epic here, Python Sister Carol. That Heal Ban is kind of a game changer there for some extra tough ones. I'm going to give her an A+. That's pretty legit. I like that a lot. Now, the cooldown lasts 4 turns, so that's not that great. But between the Heal Ban and the high amount of physical damage done by the attack, that's pretty good. And if I didn't already say so, she's a DPS type, Mostly focused on one enemy, but with a little extra damage done to extra enemies.
That's right.
Next up, okay, accidentally backed out. Next up, Carol was last, so we're going to go Burl. Burl is a tank. See, her attack is significantly lower, but her health is significantly higher. Her defense is a little higher. Goldfish Fountain is her main active skill, which deals 220% physical damage to an enemy unit with a 60% chance for taunt, and prioritizes warrior units. Prioritizing warrior units is pretty useful because they do more damage generally than the guardian units, although mage units can also deal a lot of damage out, so you gotta be careful about them. Taunt status forces the affected unit to perform only basic attacks for 2 turns. So I believe that actually can stifle the cooldown. I don't know, I gotta double check that, but if it does, that's pretty useful for stifling ultimate attacks. Alright, what's next? The ultimate is Goldfish Physique. When hits, increase your damage immunity by 1.5% up to 10 stacks. There's a 75% counterattack chance, equal to 100% chance of your attack. That's the ultimate. Alright, that, honestly, that's not, that says passive skill. Active, passive, passive. This one has no ultimate. That's strange. The physical attack one is pretty strong, though. But I'm going B- on that one. I don't like that she's the only one so far with no ultimate. Uni, the zombie type, fire type. Zombie charm. Okay, actually, let me go back. She's a healing and recovery type, which is unusual for fire types. And stat-wise, she's more of a DPS type than a tank. The primary skill is Zombie Charm. Heals the ally with the lowest HP with an amount equal to 190% attack, and applies continuous heal. At the end of each turn, heals hit points equal to 15% of Uni's attack. Lasts for 2 turns. And then the rest of the attack. If the target's hit point are below 30%, that increases the healing by 30%. That's a pretty good healing attack. Healing move. Heal formation is her ultimate. So, heals 4 allies with the lowest hit points with an amount equal to 116% attack. Grants attack bonus to the 2 allies with the highest attack, increasing their attack by 20%. So, I like that there's quite a bit of healing given to each of those 4 allies. Each of them... Sorry about that, kid emergency. So, yeah, he's good now. Anyways, so, yeah, attack point boost to the 2 highest attackers. That's a good way to ensure the attack point boost isn't wasted. Very good for when you have 1 or 2 attackers that are wildly overpowered, which is kind of fun. Next, we got Susan. She is a wind type. Stats. She is surprisingly a DPS type, not a tank type. And I would think that the pig type would be automatically a candidate for tanks. So, Little Rake deals 298% physical damage to 1 enemy in the back row. It prioritizes attacking support, increasing damage dealt to them by 20% and ignoring 15% of their defense. And, sorry about that, we forgot to give Uni a rating on the tier list. We're going to give her a B+ tier, because, not A-, because her healing skills are pretty good and so are her buff skills. Anyways, this pig sis Susan, that is a very strong primary attack, and some pretty strong damage bonuses too. Giant Rake summon. Deals 404% damage to an enemy unit in the mid row. If the target is killed, it prevents them from revival. So she kind of can be a must-have against anybody with a revivalist. Now, revive is generally limited to 2 specific mythic types and 1 specific legendary. So having somebody like Susan in the party can absolutely be a game changer. We're going to give her an A-. Final one, we got Gotti, which, believe it or not, is not a very expensive sports car. It is one of the Maidens. So she is a heal and bonus, heal type primarily. She's a wind type. Looking at her numbers, she actually appears to be somewhere in between somewhere in between DPS type and tank. So Petite Cake increases the skill of increases the attack of 3 allies with the highest attack by 25% and grants continuous heal, which restores 15% of Kagati's attack for hit points, lasting for 2 turns. So it looks like it grants herself continuous heal, but it grants the best attacking allies massive attack bonuses. Deluxe Cake, God, I feel like that's a double entendre. Increases the speed of the 3 fastest allies by 120 and grants them 15% magic damage immunity, lasts for 2 turns. Restores hit points also equal to 96% of Kagati's attack to the 3 allies with the lowest hit points. So healing and buffing, that's pretty good. I don't like that only one of the skills actually heals, but those are strong buffs. So we're going to give her B+ tier. So there's only really one bad one here. And the rest of them, I would say, are good ones. The rest of these Maidens are good ones. Especially if you're a little earlier in the game and you don't quite have an entire collection of legendaries and mythics yet. Better a really good epic than a mediocre legendary or mythic for the most part. Anyways, this is Game Hydro. Thank you for watching. We very much appreciate it. Now, please like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and if you like Tales of Angels, and if you like our Tales of Angels videos.